welcome back to the Fit House Podcast.
Hi Gina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
So, today's topic is why you should eliminate toxins from your home.
And why is that today's topic?
Well, it's because I didn't like his topic and I decided to use my own.
I liked my topic.
I thought my topic was helpful and his was very
I
negative.
thought mine was very helpful.
So with that being said,
My topic, let me say what my topic was.
Don't worry about
No,
it.
I want to say what my topic was because I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I thought it was a good topic. My topic was why spin class will make you fat and make your thighs bigger. I think it's really interesting, but Gina doesn't like that.
I feel like we should just focus on the positive things in life.
All right, well, I think it would be a positive if somebody were going to do that with the intention to get leaner, and then they did not do that to save themselves.
So my topic is a topic that can apply to everybody.
All right.
Okay. So with all that being said, the easiest way to eliminate toxins from your home is to ditch and switch.
Well, why should you even care about eliminating toxins in the first place?
That's an excellent question. So there are so many different ingredients that are in our foods, personal care products, household cleaners, laundry detergent, toothpaste, etc., that are endocrine disruptors, that are xenoestrogens, that wreak havoc on your hormones in your body, on your immune system regulation, along with a slew of other things. And most of our clients put so much time and energy into putting the cleanest foods into their body that the area that often gets overlooked is all the other stuff that we're putting on our skin, which is our largest organ in our body. Anything that your skin comes in contact with, if you put lotion on your skin, that's absorbed into your bloodstream within 20 to 60 seconds. So, just being more mindful of the personal care products that you're utilizing, especially toothpaste, because people don't realize that when you put something in your mouth and it goes under your tongue, anything that's, applied sublingually, it totally bypasses your digestive system and is immediately absorbed by your circulatory system.
But who cares?
Everybody should care.
No, but most people don't care. And I used to not care. So can we back up a minute?
Well, why do you care now?
I care because you have educated me on the effect of these toxins in your body. Somebody tried to educate me on this decades ago, but I was in that mindset where I really didn't care because I felt like it did. I just really felt like it didn't affect me. Like that was the smallest building block and it would have zero impact on me. So I ignored that person who was somebody I respect very deeply. And then when you brought it up to me, how many years ago you think?
2018.
Okay, so when you brought it up to me around 2018, you were telling me the same things that this person had told me, however long earlier that was, or at least over a decade earlier. And I started researching, and the more research I did, the more I got on board with it. And then when I did it personally and I actually felt the difference, that's when I became a full believer. But my question for you is, why should somebody care? Like, I know why I care now, but for somebody who's completely new to this, who they have no idea what a xenoestrogen is, what is a xenoestrogen and why should they care?
Essentially, they're synthetic estrogens that can be absorbed by our bodies and wreak havoc on our hormones. So let's say somebody has...
You shave gel, because I could relate to that.
Okay, so let's say somebody has Skintimate.
Gillette Fusion.
Gillette Fusion. Let's say somebody uses Gillette Fusion every single day. Xenoestrogens, synthetic fragrances. So all those things are being absorbed by your skin, so your largest organ in your body, and they're wreaking havoc on your hormones, they're wreaking havoc on your digestive system, your immune system, everything. And those xenoestrogens, they basically have a cumulative effect in your body. So everybody stores estrogens differently. And let's say somebody has an estrogen dominance problem, which honestly, what percentage of our society probably has that problem?
Very large percentage.
Okay. It's probably something like, I don't know, 70% or something like that. Um, let's say somebody has estrogen dominance. You're going to have more feminine features. You're going to store fat easier. You are going to have.
Tell you what, why don't you talk about why that's a negative for a woman, and then I could talk about why it's a negative for a man.
Yeah. So I have seen people with excess estrogen have funky menstrual cycles, have, PCOS, have, oh my gosh, a slew of other problems. But people don't realize, even if you are not trying to get pregnant, your fertility and your menstrual cycles speak volumes about what's going on in your body. So for women, if you're not having regular menstrual cycles, there's something that's going on. And it's so interesting to me how I will work with women on a nutrition level, and I'll make suggestions of how they can make personal care product or home changes. And I'm just saying home because I feel like that's a broad term that incorporates laundry detergent, multi-purpose cleaners, etc. And they will notice that their cycles will start to regulate. They'll notice that they will start to lose fat in stubborn places. A lot of people with estrogen dominance store fat in their thighs, their hips, their butt, and they'll have a lot of excess fat there.
I just want to add one thing that I think it's really interesting, because in our society, the prevalent view seems to be, if I eat less calories, I'm just going to lose fat. That's what's going to happen. That's all I have to do. And it just doesn't work that way. And I've watched clients of Gina, I've watched clients of myself just make changes in their personal care products like Gina's talking about, and all of a sudden they're dropping fat off their butt, their thighs, their belly.
It's all very overwhelming. That's why I was saying,
Well, you're storing it because you're literally lathering poison onto your body that has a cumulative effect year after year after year.
You know what's wild?
What's wild? You.
I am wild. The baby products are like the worst culprits. Like if you look at baby laundry, like the Dreft baby laundry detergent, I wouldn't wash my clothes with that, let alone my infants. Like it has the worst ingredients. Johnson & Johnson, terrible ingredients. Like all these things are just like lathering your perfect children in these toxins. And that's why I usually tell people, they're like, this is so overwhelming, I have to get rid of everything. I'm like, no. The two biggest things that you can look for in products that are super easy to switch is if something has what?
I was going to say how it affects men.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But I like what you said about a woman's, let me say it back to you and tell me if I'm saying this properly. A woman's menstrual cycle is an overall view of her overall health.
Right.
Okay. All right, the camera cut out there for a second for some reason. For men, testosterone is a wonderful indicator of your overall health. And when you are overrun with xenoestrogens, you start to become more estrogen dominant. To be very blunt, men start to get breasts. Men are not meant to have breasts, but their pectorals start to get soft and fatty like a woman's. They start to have, what do I always say, childbearing hips. If you see a guy whose lower half looks like a woman, there is something going on with him hormonally. Guys will start to notice they will have a lower mood, they will be more depressed, they will have less energy, they will slowly become fatter and fatter. And what am I missing? Their sperm quality will be low and their erections will be... Was that too blunt?
No, I mean, it's all true. And I don't think people realize the impact that your hormones have on your overall health. And I be go ahead.
I could just speak for me. So when you first started educating me about this, again, I had heard about it at least, I mean, I must have been in my early 20s when I read an article. It was in, I don't know, Iron Man magazine or something. And I remember someone wrote in, and Charles Poliquin was actually fielding the questions, and they asked him something to the effect of, what can I do to build more muscle? And they gave a little synopsis of who they are and what they're doing. And his response was, stop bathing yourself in so many xenoestrogens. And the word at the time was, he stopped being such a metrosexual and using all of these different lotions and colognes and different products. And I remember, like, I rolled my eyes at it because I'm like, look, I got to train. I got to eat healthy. I don't know what this guy's talking about. I'm putting this lotion on my face to shave, putting really good smelling cologne on. Like, those cannot possibly be having any negative effect on my body. So Gina got me to slowly but surely start switching my products. I don't remember what I switched first.
Your soap, your hand soap.
Oh, the hand soap made a huge difference. The hand soap, I used to have bloody hands every winter, all winter. I cannot tell you the number of people who have turned me on to different hand creams or this elixir or that. I always have bloody, cracked hands in the winter. Lo and behold, it was the soap I was using, because when Gina switched to soap, I have yet to have cracked, bloody hands in any season ever again.
You're welcome.
Thank you. After that, I think, was deodorant. I had to try out, I mean, like deodorants without aluminum. I'd say everyone I tried, I hate it and didn't work, except for I finally found two of them. But when you start doing the research, I was just so adamant about doing that for my health that I switched that. I stopped using any cologne. We switched our shower soap. The last thing to go was my Gillette Fusion shaving cream, because it makes shaving so easy. But I finally switched that to, what do I use? Dr. Bronner shaving cream. So when I first started doing this in 2018, I was already very lean and I was very muscular. So what kind of, like, I didn't have breasts. I didn't have a fat lower half, but it was amazing. After I made those switches, I could literally see the differences in my body. Like, my pectorals got tighter. Areas in my stomach and areas like kind of my lower half, my legs, my butt, that normally don't get that lean, got leaner, got tighter. My energy increased. And I know the things I could tell you about my pectorals, that was something visually you can literally see. Some of these things are not tangible. So some of these things are, I could tell you my energy increased, my mood increased, and it really did. But that's one of those things I can't sit down and quantify, like my energy increased this much and this increased that much. But just my overall well-being felt better. And I definitely also noticed an increase in my sexual health. It's like, I mean, I just had my blood work done. My testosterone levels are higher than the range for 18 to 22-year-olds, I think it was. And all this started for me around the time I was, what, 37, 38? So you said, what, 2018?
Mm-hmm.
So how old was I in 2018? 6 years ago? Okay, so I was 34 at the time. I feel like the biggest changes I made were around like 38 years old. But I feel younger from making these changes. And I make a lot of changes. Everybody doesn't have to make all the changes that we're making. So I know I cut you off. You were going to talk about a couple simple changes that people can make to help increase their health and their well-being.
It's all very overwhelming. So
it's really not, though. I don't think it is. You know why I don't think it is?
You know what?
Because
I'm going to interrupt you. It's very overwhelming to do everything at once.
Yeah, once.
Right. But I have a suggestion.
I have a saying.
Okay.
How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Right, exactly. That's why I don't feel it's overwhelming if you just make, like, nobody's got a gun to your head. There's no timeline. You need to make all these changes by 4th of July of 2025. It's just, as long as you're doing one thing at a time and you're doing one right thing at a time, those add up. Everything we just summed up from 2018 till 2024, like, I didn't even talk about all the changes. We just summed that up into 20 seconds of conversation. those changes happen slowly and surely. I gave you a real hard time about this at first, remember?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was like, holy shit, how
He
much
walked in on me changing or making my own body butter, and he's like, I don't want to use that. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do it. I'll just use it for myself. And he was like, no, save me too.
Well, I hear you, but you know what the joke is? I thought this was going to cost us a fortune making all of these changes. And Gina actually, I would say we either save money or we break even overall. And Gina has showed that to me. So I won't interrupt you anymore.
So I just say ditch and switch. As you run out of something, replace it with something better. So as you run out of your soft soap, hand soap, or your dial hand soap, choose a better option. You can literally go on Amazon and buy a gallon thing of cast iron soap, and you just use like 2 tablespoons of that in a foaming hand like pump, fill the rest with water and use that. Like if you want it to smell nice, add a couple drops of essential oils. Boom, like there's your hand soap. It works just as well as any antibacterial hand soap claims to work. And
I zoned out. Can you say it one more time? I mean, for real, I'm sorry. So you go to Amazon.
I hope everybody else didn't zone out.
What do you buy on Amazon?
1 gallon or half a gallon of regular plain old cast iron soap.
So you just type in cast iron soap.
Just type it in.
Okay, then what do you do once you get it?
Most people have like an existing foaming hand soap container that they have around their house, or you can get one on Amazon really cheap. It has to be foaming, otherwise it's going to come out really watery.
Okay.
You use 1 to 2 tablespoons of cast iron soap, pour it in the container, fill the rest of the container up with water, just like regular old tap water. And if you want it to smell like a fall dream or something, get some essential oils, put like 1 to 10 drops in there, shake her up, that's your soap.
And how do you get essential oils?
Well, I usually get my essential oils through Young Living.
What if somebody's not going to do that? They just want to start. They could just go on Amazon and type in essential oil.
I would recommend getting them from a reputable source, like Young Living or doTERRA or something. But if you're not going to go that route, you could just pick them up from the store. I do want to caution people, if you are purchasing essential oils like from TJ Maxx or something, most of them still have fragrance in them, even though they're essential oils. So with that being said,
so they're still poison.
Turn them over, read the ingredients, and make sure that they're fragrance free and they're actual like pure plants.
See, maybe I didn't zone out. Maybe I wanted you to list that all in very easy understand steps.
Number 2. The easiest thing, well, I'm going to say the easiest things to look for are fragrance and SLS, so sodium lauryl sulfate. If something has fragrance or sodium lauryl sulfate, which is essentially a foaming agent in it, you don't want that product. Those are the 2 easiest things to look for. SLS is usually in like toothpaste and stuff like that. But what else did I just say? The SLS, oh, and fragrance. If you turn something over and it has perfume or fragrance in it, that could mean literally a slew of like 3,000 something ingredients, because they dictated in like the 1970s that these companies don't have to disclose what fragrance means because it's like a trade secret. So you never know what that fragrance term includes. It could include like over 3,000 poison ingredients. It's wild.
So, question, because I'm a little slow. What is the negative towards spraying yourself or using something that has fragrance in it? Like, just said simply, what is the negative to using that?
I mean, it's poison. It goes directly into your skin. It has xenoestrogens. It has a slew of other ingredients. You have to think that...
But what does it actually do to my body that's negative?
Oh, it's a hormone disruptor.
And so that goes
It's
back
a
to everything else we
carcinogen.
just
It
talked
can
about.
cause cancer. It's like a million different things.
Oh, it is a million different things.
It is.
That's the funny thing, because a lot of this, you can't name one tangible thing. It's like an overall effect on your body. It increases inflammation in your body. Some of these things they're neurotoxic. Some of them are carcinogenic. So it's all this continuous buildup in your body. And imagine going back to that little baby you were talking about, that you would never wash a baby's clothes with whatever the name of that product was. Imagine from the time you're a little baby, which is the case for pretty much all of us, we have been exposed day after day, year after year, to poisons, to things that are carcinogenic, to things that are neurotoxic, to things that are hormone disruptors. And it just adds up day after day, decade after decade. And then you get to the point where we're talking about some people, we just take away some products and they start losing fat. Their
I
body
do
is
want to,
holding on to fat because of the continuous poison that they put in themselves. And once you start to get your body healthy, when you are healthy on the inside, your body is better able to lose fat and your body is better able to build muscle. So that's why health has to be at the basis of everything. What were you going to say?
well, our little pumpkin is waking up, so we got to wrap this up. But I did want to just say it's very overwhelming. What products can I look for that are good and like healthy to switch out? There's two apps that you can download on your phone that are free that I really like. One is called Think Dirty. I don't think it's the most reliable anymore because Procter and Gamble has since bought out Think Dirty. So therefore they rate their toxic products like higher on the non-toxic list. But for most things, it's good to get a general idea. You can scan barcodes when you're at the store, or you can do a quick search. So that app is Think Dirty. The second app that is much more reliable that I really like is the EWG app. So that stands for Environmental Working Group, EWG, and they're a nonprofit American advocacy group that researches all of these different products and will rate them similar to the Think Dirty app. It's a more reliable app. They just don't have as big of a database yet, but they're definitely coming along. And I would say the easiest products to switch to is something like Dr. Bronner's, is something like a free and clear detergent, is something like, making your own hand soap, like I just said. If you are, we could definitely do like a continued version of this video and go into depth about like what products we did switch to. But I would say the biggest products of concern are your toothpaste. Toothpaste is all toxic. Like you need to get something better. I really like Dr. Bronner's for toothpaste, for soap, for, shaving cream. They are scented with essential oils. Their ingredients are organic. They're clean. They're pretty much available in store and online. The other product I like for toothpaste is Boca. Boca's a really good brand. I'm trying to think what other. I do use a lot of Young Living products, so like the Thieves household cleaner and whatnot.
As you're saying all this, all I'm thinking in my head is no matter who you are, making some of these adjustments will benefit your health.
Yeah.
And also, no matter who you are, whether you are an 18-year-old skinny kid who's trying to put on muscle, whether you're a 40-year-old woman who wants to lose 20 pounds, whether you're somebody who wants to lose whatever or gain whatever, everyone will be better served and move closer to their goal by getting the inside of their body healthier and making these changes. And I am fully aware it does not sound as cool as doing the Futura Fat Blast 5000 workout and taking the Fat Burn Incinerator 32,000 formula. But these are the things that actually have an effect on your body. Just we're so surrounded by so much noise, it's tough to really know what to do. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. And if you are if you're looking for a suggestion on a swap that you can make, comment down below and I will give you a cleaner swap. But it's crazy as you dig deeper, Like, I'm just looking at a diaper across the room. Baby diapers, they all have chlorine in them. Why do our baby diapers like have chlorine in them? Why do they need to have that? It's like you can buy diapers that don't have chlorine in them. Like you can buy baby laundry soap or regular laundry soap that doesn't have fragrance. And guess what? You can use dryer balls and put some essential oils on them and your laundry. I think you have to say that my mom's laundry smells better than anything you've ever smelled.
I agree with that. I've never smelled anything that smells that good.
And that's exactly what she does. Is she always just uses like some essential oils on her dryer balls and she throws it in with the laundry and it smells fantastic.
Quick story to end on. Do you remember young lady that I trained that you do nutrition with, and her toxicity measurement would not go down, and then you had a talk with her about what she's putting on her body?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Long story short, young lady that I train, turning 60 years old, wants to really like turn it up and be in the best shape ever at 60. She is crushing it. Her training is on track. Her nutrition is on track. She is down to, this is off the top of my head, but I think she was stuck at 18% body fat. 18% body fat on a woman is lean. Like she's got a six pack. So it's something that I do with her, that we do with anybody who does nutrition with Gina or myself. It is a body fat test that, based on 14 different measurements, it lets us know hormonally what's going on in your body, because hormones dictate where your body stores fat. Based on the results of that, we have an idea of what is most out of whack in her body, and we can assign nutrition and a supplement protocol to address that. Toxicity was her highest by far. So we did a protocol to lower toxicity. Toxicity in her body went down, but it was still high. We did a different protocol for toxicity. It went down again. It was still high. So it was like it was whittling its way down, but we just couldn't figure out why we couldn't get it all the way down. And then Gina had a conversation with her. And Gina, what did you figure out?
She was using a lot of fragrance. She was using a lot of like scented shampoos and conditioners and different toothpastes and stuff like that we switched for different products.
So all of a sudden, we make some switches, and lo and behold, like magic, her body fat percentage goes down, even leaner. She feels better. She has more energy. She actually feels the difference. And it's just so cool to actually see that. And it's so, I cannot recommend it more to anyone. It is probably one of the biggest building block steps you can possibly take, because think about it. The less poison you're putting in your body, the less problems you're going to have.
Yes.
Anything you want to add?
I mean, I could go on about this forever.
This is Gina's.
This is my jam.
Like where training's my biggest passion, Gina's biggest passion is a non-toxic lifestyle. Is that a good way for me to put it?
For sure. And you become even more aware about it, like the deeper and deeper you dig. And
can I ask you one more?
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember when I was a kid, my parents had a water cooler we got in the house, and the service would come deliver those 5-gallon jugs of water every week. And those 5-gallon jugs of water all had fluoride in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my father told me, like, fluoride's good for your teeth. He specifically ordered us those gallons with fluoride in it, so we would drink our fluoride water. What is the problem with that, Gina?
Fluoride is never meant to enter your digestive system. Even for your teeth, like I said before, things are much more quickly absorbed if they get under your tongue. So what are you putting? You're constantly putting toothpaste there. And you can use...
Wait. But why do they tell you to use fluoride?
To prevent cavities.
Okay, and what does fluoride actually do?
It's a neurotoxin. So neurotoxins can, it can create like learning disabilities in children, especially during like the prenatal and perinatal phase. Like they're recommending against it. because it can cause like a slew of issues. And I was actually just telling Christopher.
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah.
With these videos, I try to be very, very simple and to the point.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a neurotoxin. So it means it's toxic for your brain. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we were told when we were kids that we should drink something that is toxic for our brains. And people are still told that today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it makes no sense.
I know.
I know.
But
And that's the moral. But the moral to a lot of this is you might be scratching your head thinking like, that makes no sense. I remember using, what was it called? Remember baby powder?
Yeah, Johnson's baby powder.
I remember using scented Johnson. When I was old enough and I hit a certain age, I started shaving my chest and my nether regions, and I used to lather on some baby powder after. It felt so good. What was wrong with the baby powder?
They realized that it causes cancer.
That's great, because I was rubbing it on my balls for how many years?
There's a lawsuit. They want a lawsuit against it.
But what I'm saying is there's a lot of head scratchers where you go, wait a minute. I would assume something that's being sold on the shelves in the store is not toxic for my brain, is not carcinogenic, and it's healthy for my body, because I assume there's some sort of government agency that has my best interest at heart and is overlooking everything and making sure no poison ever makes its way into my body.
That's why the EWG was invented.
Why?
It's an American advocacy group, so they do non-biased research to all of these products and they rate them on a scale.
Why? Because were people lying to us?
This is a perfect example. The EWG is the same group that comes out with the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So the Dirty Dozen, just to give you a quick overview, they test different produce after it's been washed, and they can determine how toxic it is based on the amount of pesticide residue left on those produce items.
Wait a minute. What is produce?
Are you for real?
I'm just playing stupid. Sometimes I like to illustrate a point. What is produce?
Strawberries.
Okay,
like
so wait,
lettuce,
you're telling me.
spinach,
So this is what you're telling me. You're telling me
vegetables.
that. Tell me that a strawberry that grows in nature could somehow be poison for my body.
Correct.
Okay, I'll let you continue.
Thank you. So they test these items after they've been washed. So they're supposed to be clean. They're supposed to be ready for consumption. It's a new list every year. So they do this every year. They come out with a list. This is the EWG. And they formulate the Dirty Dozen. So it is the top 12 produce items that you absolutely positively need to buy organic. Spoiler, berries are always on that list. Spinach is usually always on that list. They're the most sprayed crops, produce items, whatever you want to say, for that year. They're usually pretty similar. They'll change year to year. The Clean 15, tested in the same way. Produce is tested after it's been washed, ready for consumption, and they will determine which items are not that bad for you and that you can continue to buy conventional and you don't have to spend extra money buying organic. But that's why the EWG was invented by these, by Americans to essentially spread the word and show people they're essentially being poisoned with all these toxins, and this is how you can do better.
All right, so coming to an end, I would say this is my takeaway from this. If somebody just made one step to start with, it sounds like the easiest step to start with based on what you just told me. I could think of two.
Yeah.
One would be, instead of buying the pump hand soap anymore, switching over to the hand soap that you talked about, which would actually save money, correct?
Oh, you'd save a ton of money.
Okay, so you could save money on hand soap and put less poison in your body.
Yep.
Is that a fair way for me to put it?
Yep.
And then if I said a second thing, what's something really easy you could switch? I would say shaving gel or shaving cream is an easy one, right?
You want to focus on the things that you're using every single day. multiple times a day. So usually what I tell people is to focus on hand soap, because that's used like sometimes 6 times a day, toothpaste because you're using it more than once and it's in your mouth, and laundry detergent. So laundry sits on your skin 24 hours a day. You always have clothes on unless you're sleeping naked. Good for you.
You know what was like the hardest thing, the gap for me to bridge was?
What?
If I put something in my mouth, it makes sense to me that my body's absorbing it. It's tough to envision that something being on your skin, that your body actually absorbs it faster. Is that correct?
Versus, well, if you put it under your tongue, it's absorbed the fastest.
Okay, so under your tongue's the fastest.
Yeah.
And what's the second fastest?
Well, just
swallowing
on your
it or your skin?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, so either swallowing it or your skin.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy. So I order these shorts on Amazon. I really, really like them. They are not expensive and they fit me great. At least I think they fit me great. Anyways, they're like, Gina won't let me wear these shorts until we wash them. They come from China, and it's very interesting. The research we've done on products that come from China, they use, different sizing materials and things like that to shrink them down and get them in a package. And it's literally straight poison. Gina will not let me wear these, but it's just really hard to think about, okay, I'm putting some fabric on my skin and my body's absorbing poison from that, but that's actually the way it works. And do you remember the statistic? We decided when we started filming these new podcasts, the old podcasts, we used to sit down and we used to script things out, and we would do all of our, have all our statistics in front of us, everything in front of us. These, we said we're going to make more like a conversation. So I don't remember this exact number, but was it something to the effect like the average woman puts over 100 toxic substances on her skin before she leaves the house in the morning to go to work?
I think it was like 50, but still it was something crazy.
I remember it was like a staggering number.
Yeah.
And you start to pick that apart and think about it, like that just doesn't make sense.
You're like, what could I possibly be putting on my face? I mean, I personally don't use that many things just in general. But you think about it, it's like, okay, what do you use in the shower? What do you brush your teeth with? What kind of floss are you using? What are you washing your hair with? What kind of hairspray are you using? What kind of, insert product here are you using? So it's very easy to do one thing at a time. So like we said before, toothpaste, hand soap, laundry detergent, that's where I would start. It's super easy to be if you don't want to get into downloading apps and that's not something you're ready for yet, as you're strolling down the aisle of Wegmans, Target, whatever, turn something around. If it has fragrance or perfume or SLS, which is sodium lauryl sulfate, put it down and choose a better option. Anything to add?
No, you gotta believe. I didn't believe this stuff at first. Gina started educating me. I started doing a lot of research into it, which I encourage everyone to do as well. And it was only after I started doing research that I bought into the idea. So then I slowly started making changes. Again, I don't remember what I started with. It might have been, the hand soap, and then the deodorant, and then the last thing to go, I know, was my shaving gel. But as I made those changes, I could see and feel a difference in my body. And that is what motivated me to continue making changes. And to this day, I still continue to make changes. There's no timeline on it. There's no, it has to be done tomorrow. As long as and think about it. What if you made like a monthly goal? What if every month you were going to ditch one toxic thing and replace it with something else? There would be 12 huge changes at the end of the year. At the end of 2 years, there would be 24 big changes. My point is, they're going to add up. They're going to add up fast, and those changes are going to pay off great results for not just the way you look, but also your health, your longevity, and your functionality.
Yes, and like I said, if you need recommendations for anything, comment or ask Chris, and we can give you some cleaner recommendations for any product you can think of.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you have a wonderful evening.
Bye.